Hello, everybody. It is a big week in the stock market. All-time highs are back on the menu, and earnings have been looking really good for the most part. Some stocks obviously seeing huge
Actually,
sell-offs.
yeah, very mixed, very
Wait.
volatile though.
Earnings have been pretty good overall, though. The underlying numbers have been good. The reactions, that's a whole separate thing. We'll get into that in just a second here. We're through most of the major earnings. We still have NVIDIA yet to come. Apple has been seeing a nice rocket ship. Some others, not so much so. Evan, what are you looking at?
You know, one thing I will say, the companies set their own expectations and then the analysts kind of go towards it. So you probably should generally get beats more, and then it's just the other areas that they care about. And if a company is consistently missing, that's like a problem that if you don't like fix over time, that's a you thing. Ooh, we got some tickers in the chat. Gav put tickers in the chat in this title, and we have one or two already. I guess joke's on me. But yeah, Cavo is definitely a mover. There's a lot of other stuff going on. We know I've spent a lot of time talking about Apple on these one. There was a decent little size headline, and here's a post that I have going out. Is 13F season. Tomorrow after the close, Warren Buffett updates his portfolio. Ackman updates his portfolio. Hamid updates his portfolio every day. But this Apple story came out from Bloomberg. Apple's Reddy's robots, lifelike Siri, security tech and AI. They were saying a tabletop robot that serves as a virtual companion targeted for 2027 is the centerpiece for the AI strategy. It's the article from Bloomberg. Going through it, the stock. This is Cavo. I did have to interrupt when he said all the earnings were going. That is fair. The numbers were beating, but I was looking at this one. I bought, by the way, I like to add stocks to a watch list. My cost basis on Kava is like 141. Like here is where I bought it. And if you want to look at like zoom out, wait.
Should we talk about Kava before we go on to Apple?
Yeah, let's talk about Kava. It was rough same-store sales, and that seems to be a theme that was going on. I saw Apple, wonderful company. We got to mention it one more time there.
I think this is more just across. This is the restaurant business as a whole, right? I mean, Chipotle.
Not all of them. There were some winners, though. I think this is what the market is saying. But yeah, Kava, Chipotle, Sweetgreen. There are definitely a lot that aren't working, but I definitely saw some that were. Yeah, same-store sales was the theme, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. But the other thing with Kava was that it was sort of priced to perfection, as if it was going to become Chipotle. And the price already had much of that baked into it, because on a per store basis at one time, I know the stock sort of ran to like $170 a share. I think at one time the price per store was over $50 million per store. And these are like tiny little stores.
My question is though, Hamid, what did that end up getting at like before these earnings? Like that might have been a stat from like 150 like here. What about where it's down from over here?
What about now? Yeah. So, I mean, we might have to look up how many stores they have and divide it by their market cap. But, but yeah, it's still in the tens of millions per store, which is fine. But like, it's not a cheap stock, even after the decline.
Yeah. Hamid, do you eat Kava? Are you a Kava guy?
So I actually bought the stock, I want to say like late last year before one of their earnings at about $100 a share. I bought it right before they reported. They shot up to like 15% right after the report. And then that weekend, I went and tested it out by trying out the restaurant. And I did not like the food. I thought it was no Chipotle, in my opinion. And I ended up selling the stock on Monday. And of course, it ran from 115, which is where I sold it at, to about 170 before it started the slow decline over the past 6 months. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I have not gone back ever since that one time that I tried it out. But you know, I know a lot of people are their fans, so you know, the food might not be bad. What is that number of restaurants?
398. Yeah. So and then what's the value?
What's the market cap? Scroll to the top.
8.2.
8,200 million divided by 398. That's 20 million per store, which is not as bad as it used to be.
Okay. 20 million per store. What's Chipotle's?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're going to have to look that up.
All right, let's do that. Okay, so
there's got to be so many more Chipotles, right?
Let's go to here. CMG. Port. How many locations?
3,800 locations roughly.
Somebody asked, what was your Kava order?
I actually really enjoy Kava. I get the normal. I'm playing. Get it? What'd you get?
Steak pita sandwich.
Oh, got a sandwich. You got to get a bowl. All right, Hamid.
So Chipotle is also roughly 20 million per store.
Okay, so same valuation. Well, you got to listen. You got to get a bowl. I really like their tzatziki. Their hummus was pretty good, but they got all the extra stuff. I got chicken.
By the way, so Kava at 20 million versus Chipotle at 20 million is far more interesting. So because Kava is growing a lot faster and same store sales are growing faster.
I like it. I'm telling you,
it would be good to sort of check out their profitability on a per store basis as well. But maybe at $60 a share or whatever it is now, or $70.
Earnings Hub score, 28% revenue growth, 57% EPS growth. Valuation is P to E. I mean, that's
It's
overall B.
High high PE and price sales. So how does that compare to Chipotle?
Let me look, but yeah, you have to get a bowl from Kava. I feel like that might have been.
Did you just repin it?
What you did? Yeah. Shout out Juno. I see her in a lot of chats. She's great. We also got someone from LinkedIn too. What a diverse chat. X, LinkedIn, and YouTube come together and make some great stuff. What a beautiful thing.
Okay, price earnings is 37 versus 140. Price sales is almost 5 versus like 9 for Kava. So
8.8 revenue growth and 8.6 EPS growth versus 50 something and 30 something. I don't always trust the EPS growth. The 28% revenue growth though.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I actually want to switch for a second to another stock that's in Hamid's portfolio. I noticed a very small position, and that was to AEO. Do you still own this, Hamid?
American Eagle, yeah.
Earnings came up in 15 days.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on the Sydney Sweeney ad. Now, I did see a report on Forbes that says same store walk-in traffic at the retailer is lower than it was year over year. So that concerns me a little bit. I might have to visit the mall and actually visit the store myself before I make any decisions on this. But that would be a concern if that's the case. But the stock is cheap on a relative basis anyway. So if the Sydney Sweeney ad does well, it could still generate a lot of revenue growth and profit growth for them.
Yeah, I noticed it has.
That ad?
Well, Evan. Well, real quick, I noticed on earnings side, it also has some A's as well on the scoring, which I thought was pretty interesting there. And the overall, it gave it a B. I think that the ad obviously came off very controversial, but I think it's ultimately going to lead to more sales than not for them.
My question would be, the way Hamid invests is 10x. For me, when I'm thinking that, I get more excited about these being A's and these being lower than the other way around. So this just doesn't. This feels like it doesn't fit in some of the other ones.
I think generally you're correct. This was more okay. So investing is hard. You know, there's temptations all the time, and this is probably more of a temptation stock for me than it was just like very strategic.
I get it, like, Sydney Sweeney gets people going.
The temptation of Sydney Sweeney, but the stock seems cheap. The opportunity of like having it impact the revenues in a positive way seems pretty significant. What I haven't seen from the company, which I was hoping to see, is a little bit double downing and trolling on the ads, and they haven't really done that. It seems like they kind of went silent, and I'm not sure how that might impact their actual growth opportunity there. But they are up today, right? Like they were up a few percentage points earlier.
Let me pull it back up.
Is this a long-term hold for you, or just kind of see how earnings go?
I am curious how earnings go. If the earnings continue to do well, and if they talk like it's going to
get in that
on what the CEO says on the call.
Hamid, when did you get in?
At 12:40ish. So it's up 8-9% since I bought in.
When are earnings?
It's in
15
a couple
days.
weeks.
Zoom out a little on this one. We have Cisco and D-Local today and Coherent. Cisco's interesting. Have you looked at this chart at all recently, or did you see my post about it? I don't know if
I
you've seen
haven't.
this.
I heard Cisco has become a value stock though. Like
Wait, but Hamid, look, .com bubble. We're getting very close to the .com bubble high. Cisco.
25 years later. Can
Yeah,
you
well, the
imagine
mark-
this company blew past its current valuation 25 years ago?
Well, so the market cap there must have been like a lot of share dilution or something. But the market cap is still like somewhere like much lower. It's not close, but the stock price.
They must have done a not dilution, but they must have bought a lot of shares.
Yeah, or whatever it was. No, I think I thought it would be the other way around, like share-based compensation or something.
No, if the
I don't
market
know.
is lower.
The market cap was a good bit lower than the stock price. Like I could show you. I saw it on my charts.
Oh,
It's
it was
like-
back in .com or it
No,
is
right
today?
now. Like
It's
here,
like
I'll
people. It's like people who bought Ethereum in 2021. You know, you're like, I'm green.
So
Coming back.
if right now at the same share price, the market cap is lower, that means there's fewer shares today. So that means they've bought back a lot of their shares.
Yeah. Checks out.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk Apple for a second here, Evan?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can
I think
find
we
that.
should. Let's get back to this. Is Apple back? I mean, listen. Here's the thing. We had a lot of conversations. Apple's dead, dying company. But you know what the crazy part is? Look at the valuation. It's still valued at this crazy level. That was all this conversation here for the last. Right. This is on the long term, year to date. That's what this entire conversation has been. Let's see if we get to the 1 hour.
Yeah, but like
So they're starting. I'm not saying that's different, but my question is like, okay, was that valuation a base? Is Apple always going to trade at a higher thing? And have we not seen expensive Apple? Now, this is just a crazy move, and I'm not saying that will continue, but Apple is clearly Apple's seeing that. I mean, whether they were making these moves or not, that clearly they need to play the PR game, and they're playing it.
yeah,
And I love it.
They're stroking Trump's ego with the presence and all that. The extra $100 billion of investment.
Hamid, I bought some
paper-
Intel
the
calls,
gold-
honestly, and look at this. Come on, listen. Whether it's good or bad, it feels like a little trade is developing. Makes me think Goldman Sachs CEO might be going to the White House, promise some stuff, banking. Maybe they add some crypto. We'll see where this one ends up going. But
All of that, I
What do
feel
you-
like, is very short-term oriented.
I agree. I agree.
Would he give him a gold paperweight or something
Yeah.
like that?
Is
I
that
don't
is that
know.
what he gave him? A gold paperweight?
No,
With
what
the
it was a paperweight, and then it was a piece of glass that was engraved, and the whole thing was they're going to make their glass in America. So it was a piece of Corning glass, GLW, which they're one of the ones who are getting a big win out of basically all these announcements. Not surprised. MP Materials seems to be one
Is
that's
this a
also
daily-
behind a lot of them.
Is this a,
Wow.
What?
is this a daily chart?
This is a 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay. Oh,
But it kind of goes out pretty far.
Can we go to the daily? I feel like the 1 hour is
There-
deceiving.
Well, GLW, it looks like.
Okay, perfect. I was going to say, Hamid, I actually think I have a strategy for taking Earnings Hub to the next level. Do you
Tell
do you have a way to get in front of President Trump and give him a gift? Sir,
get
this
a
is a
gold
gold
version of
Earnings report.
our up arrow logo. That's funny. Yeah, so going back to the Apple discussion, the problem with Apple is not the short-term problem, right? Like in the short term, like, is Apple going to have another $400 billion of revenue in the next year? Yeah, probably. Like, I don't see them sort of fumbling their existing revenue in a significant way in the near term. But because of how they have fumbled in the past 10 years on a product and strategy standpoint, and where they've put their research and efforts into, such as like the self-driving car thing that they abandoned, or this headset thing at $3,500 a piece. So, or releasing products that are just like not priced for their audience or their target market. So, somehow they thought that like people are willing to pay any price for Apple products, and they're not. the vast majority of their customers are very price conscious, despite the fact that they want the best product for a reasonable price. And that's what Apple has been really good at. And this is what Steve Jobs really understood in depth, is that Apple was about delivering something that was virtually impossible at a price point that was basically at the high end of what you were already paying for in the market. So smartphones, you were paying around $200 for a smartphone when the iPhone came out. They launched it initially at $400, and it was not a success actually until the second version, which they launched at $199, which is about the price point where smartphones were selling. And then it sold like hotcakes. And so whether it's been the MacBook or the iPhone or the iPod or whatever, the price point has always been very, very competitive. And somewhere along the lines, Tim Cook did not understand that. And the focus has been all over the place. They've completely missed on AI, and they have not caught up after 3 years. It's sort of like really disappointing to see. So the question is, can they make all the right decisions going forward all of a sudden under the same leadership? And my view is that, it's probably not a company that's going to double or triple from here in the next 5 years, right? So that, to me, a much better bet than Apple would be Meta. Meta under Zuck's leadership seems to be making the right bets. They're sort of executing really well. They seem to have their shit together a lot better than Apple.
What did you think of Meta earnings compared to Apple earnings?
Oh my God, Meta earnings killed it. It was. They were up 20% year over year. Their revenue growth is insane relative to Apple is like up 6% year over year. Their profit growth is rapidly expanding. And then, of course, Zuckerberg is investing heavily in AI.
Listen, I don't think this is a fair comparison because Meta, name me 5 to 10 companies that you could sit there and be like, all right, and throw Meta as the comparison and be like, all right, Meta's not better. We're also talking.
That's why I'd rather own
Apple's
Meta
valued
than
at
all of those 5 or 6 companies. I mean,
I think that is a fair point. Yeah, Meta is them. Meta is him. The argument there is, all right, Apple is worth more than Meta here. I think one thing that Meta doesn't have at this point in time that Apple does have is your pathway into the ecosystem. Is Meta for everything has to go through someone else, and they're kind of at their mercy at this point in time.
And
they're working to break that, which is huge.
Yeah.
Wait, so are you saying they're working to break that with what, the glasses or something?
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of it's not even the glasses, it's the trying to build the next platform, which they're kind of building the tech, and that's kind of the form the glasses are right now. So I think that the future probably is Meta right now. I think that the question though is like, when is that 5 to 10 years? Is Apple about to make $1 trillion+ Are they going to grow that, buy back another half of the company, make a shift? And what does the next evolution go on? But I think that it's pretty well built out that this current platform, the phone in the foreseeable future, is Apple's. We don't know what the next one will be. We don't know when that will be. But the way tech moves, it feels like it's coming.
Okay, well, transparently, and I agree with June here a little bit, and she's putting in the chat. She said, I think Google is already ahead here. And first off, Samsung, there's way more Samsung phones used around the world than Apple, right? So even from that point, they already do have that interface. And then they're kind of working on other pieces. So I like Google a lot too. I don't know if you have thoughts on their earnings, Hamid. And obviously Google is also getting an A here, just like Meta.
Yeah, so I like Google. I just wish it had a different CEO. I think that they're not focused in the right areas. I think their AI strategy is all over the place. They have the best AI products, yet nobody really knows about them. And that's just literally Sundar's fault. There's no other reason for it.
You think they have the best AI products?
Oh yeah, I mean, like they're sort of beating everything on the benchmarks. I think Grok 4 may have just recently beat them on the bench.
I really feel like it shows through on the video models. Like, obviously, that's we see that more than anything else. Like, honestly, the chatbots, I'm not going to know what's a slightly better chatbot, but you see those VO or Geo or whatever they are, and those are the most impressive models that come out. Sora is good. This whole Grok imagination thing, I'm sorry, I don't get why he's tweeting so much about it. It's not that good compared to what we've seen, compared to Google.
I 100% agree. Yeah. Google's VO is like top notch. I mean, their their chatbot is also really good, but like my go-to is ChatGPT. I mean, like from a brand recognition
Shout out
and
Perplexity.
yeah, like their
Hashtag
strategy is too dispersed, and they have like multiple products in each category. They have like, and you don't really know what they are. You don't know where to start, like using Google's products. You constantly have to search to know sort of like, how do you even use Gemini? It's not Gemini.com. I mean, just like so many simple things they're missing out on. So yeah, I would be way more bullish on Google if it was being run by Larry Page or Sergey Brin or somebody who actually like understood the business side of things more than Sundar does. So, you know, I think Sundar is a great engineer. He's like made sure that the company is remained relevant from an engineering standpoint, but I don't think he's doing a great job on overall strategy.
By the way, if you guys don't know who we're talking with, it is Hamid. You see the earnings type product that I'm pretty sure that all of you guys use, but you see us use all the time, and we've been using a lot on this. He is the one who made that. This is his page. You should give him a follow. Also, if you enjoy his takes, he has a podcast, Buy, Hold, Rant. Go in, check that out.
It's a lot of my rants. But Dustin is also part of that podcast as well. So
I wanted to say we are kind of coming up to the top of the hour. We got stocks on Spaces, and I'm sure I know you come in and hang out with us there a little bit. We don't got a super hard stop, but we got this Bumble position. Just bought more Bumble today. I will say I've been watching it a little bit because I've owned some, and I was like, all right, my cost basis, for anyone who doesn't know, this was pitched to me on Spaces by Hamid, and I was like, all right, let's add it to the watch list. And I added 50 shares to the watch list at $6.87, and I did that on July 16th. July 16th.
It was relatively recent. When I started talking about it, it was in the 5s, and it went all the way down to the high 3s before it started to come back up. Usually when I start buying a stock, its momentum is in the downward direction, so it tends to go down much further than when I buy it.
I mean, so this is where I bought right here. Like, wait, can I put like I can put a line. So I bought like right there.
Okay.
The first time. So you can kind of see my emotions of fuck yeah, let's go, Hamid. Great job. And then it's like, oh no. But this did not last long. And this is where Hamid just said he was buying today. What, like right around $6.90, $7 is there a cost on here? $6.98, yeah.
So I'll tell you the 10-second version. If anybody is interested, they can hop on the Buy Hold Rant because I'm going to probably talk about it more. But the 10-second version of this is that they, in their Q2 report, they added $60 million of cash to their cash pile from operations. This is a company that's only worth $700 million, mind you. So in one quarter, for them to add $60 million of cash, that's a run rate of roughly $240 million, or about 1/3 the entire market cap, which is like insane to me. Like there is no other company generating that kind of cash. But their earnings missed because of a write-down of goodwill, which has zero impact on their business. But they wrote down $400 million of goodwill, which showed them basically losing over $300 and something million. So that's the reason why the stock sort of tanked after Q2 report. But the reality is that they are executing really, really well.
It's funny timing to come over to this slide.
Yeah. Well, you know, this sort of reflects the earnings being sort of super low, obviously, because of the write-downs. So they've been taking hits the past couple of quarters on goodwill.
All right,
I'm not providing any investment advice or accounting information. So if somebody knows something more, like as to what, like if I'm wrong about goodwill not having any impact on their business, feel free to let me know in the comments or tweet at me or post at me or whatever.
I don't see why it would. What were you saying there, Evan?
No, I was gonna say that's most of the ones that were I think were top of mind. Cisco earnings after the close should be interesting. We're all kind of waiting down for those NVIDIA earnings, which are still earnings up, I think, like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the market. NVIDIA earnings.
Yeah, 27th.
That were dropped in the chat. A lot more that I want to get to. I do have to jump here, but this was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing some more of these. I like the banter. I enjoy just talking shit at stocks sometimes, hyping others up. It's a lot of fun to me.
Awesome. I love it, as you guys know. So thank you very much, guys. Super
Absolutely,
fun
Evan.
hanging out.
And of
I probably
course,
just
everybody
put it
make
at the end, I didn't
sure.
want to there, but I wanted to go over and show Hamid's profile and earnings hub one more time. Shout out to Jeff for coming on the spaces. That's what that was. We'll see.
Nice.
But yeah, shout out Hamid. You should check him out. This is his profile, Hamid's. Also, Buy, Hold, Rant podcast if you want to hear more stuff like this. We're going to do this again next week. So, or the week after, whatever it is. But so he'll be back on here, him and Dustin. So we appreciate you. Have a good one, team.
Thank you. Take care, guys.